Today we're talking about RuneScape. Not just RuneScape, but old school RuneScape. And from an MMO perspective, this has been a part of the genre, part of its history, a part of its origin that I think Chris hasn't really had a lot of hands-on experience. And so when we sit down and we debate various different systems and, design structures, I think it's clear to say that Theme Park has won the day. If we're talking about sheer numbers, sheer accessibility, Theme Park has the ability to draw in a lot of casuals. It has the ability to draw in a lot of hardcore players. It also sets it up so that you don't really necessarily need like that wiki page open all the time while you're playing through the sandbox. And that's definitely got the numbers. Like, it's really like when you compare and contrast the two. But old school dogs like myself, we have a lot of nostalgia. We have a lot of love for the struggle. We have a lot of love for this sense of what we feel like some of the modern theme park games have sacrificed, have lost. And so we're going to be talking about RuneScape and old school RuneScape specifically. I have not ever played it, so it's going to be more or less my, compare and contrast to how Final Fantasy 11 perhaps did it, which Final Fantasy 11 was modeled off of EverQuest, 14 was modeled off of World of Warcraft. So there's always going to be these inspirations that the games draw themselves from. So I'm going to be very curious. So with that, as a part of an introduction, hit that like button. And Chris, what do you guys think about? What do you think about old school RuneScape? Like, are you shocked? Are you surprised? Are you annoyed? Give me the Chris.
I mean, the first thing you're going to notice is like the graphics in the UI is so outdated.
Does that even matter though?
When we talk about games, like, it's the first thing you notice, right? It's the first thing your eyes land on is the graphics in the UI. And when we look at new games and we look at new trailers, the first thing we see is the visuals. I mean, you look at games like Starfield, Forspoken, Final Fantasy 16, these games that just released these incredible visual trailers. And people have already decided if the game is good or bad based on the viewing of those trailers. They're just already positive it's going to be a great game. Doesn't matter if it's released, they're already sure. And so when you look at a game like this, that by extension would mean like it has an uphill battle to solve. What I found is some of my favorite games, some of the games that I've lost the most hours in, the games that when I log out, I don't just look forward to my next play session, but I find myself not doing the dishes and just starting my next play session now, where I'm just like the literal word of addiction, where it's actively damaging the rest of my life that I'm making this such a priority. Actually, a lot of those games have had just dreadful graphics, or the graphics have been really monotonous. And so you look at games that have just sucked up my life: Minecraft, Dwarf Fortress, EVE Online, Diablo 2. These are games that were kind of multiplayer for me, in that I shared them with friends, and that I wanted nothing more than my friends to say, how did you get all of that, before they next logged in? And the best way to do that was to trim sleep, to trim food, to trim, like, I'm just going to eat food that I can eat at my keyboard. Whatever I got, that's fine. Like, I don't know, we'll just put like dry tuna on some crackers. Like, let's just keep playing. And it's an addiction. And like, I immediately found myself, that kind of like touch grass phrase, which depending on the context can be said very meanly. Like, I like going out after streaming all day and touching grass. I like going and doing that. And so over the last 2 years, I've begun to take care of myself a lot more physically. Any of you that follow me on Twitter under Work to Game will see that update. And there has come a point where it's no longer like, way to keep going, dude. But like, I actually have to start wondering, like, am I posting this and does it look like braggy? Because it feels like some of the things I'm achieving, they feel unfathomable to where I was 30 pounds ago and 2 years ago. And so this weekend I rode 30 miles on my bike, got off my bike and immediately put my running shoes on and ran a 5K. That feels impossible even 6 months ago. And 2 years ago, I would like laugh and be like, what a weirdo, like what an extreme nut job. And now it's like, that was just a Saturday. And people are like, was that like, my friend asked, he goes, oh, wow, was that for like a race or something? I was like, no, I just did it. Like, I just did it. And so that feels so great. The problem with that is that it was beautiful weather outside. So I grilled myself lunch. My wife didn't want anything. So I grilled myself lunch. I sat out on the patio. I was eating myself I was eating some hot dogs, and I had some veggies and some fruit and a glass of water, and I was sitting out on my back patio looking at my wife's garden with my dog laying next to me. Great day. The problem is that part of my life has always been separated from how much I love MMORPGs. And I thought, this game came out in 2001. I bet it could run on my phone. You bet it can run on my phone.
It better.
So then I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this is amazing. I have taken like the best part of getting away from the computer, and I leveled up logging like 7 times. I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome. I can bring MMOs. They can be pervasive. They can slide into any part of my life. My wife gets up and takes too long going to the bathroom at a restaurant. I can level logging. Like anywhere, anytime. It takes, and the reason I play mobile games, when I've done things like we've played Lords Mobile on stream, we've played Raid Shadow Legends on stream, and I play all this, and people are like, it's not a game, it's not a game. The reason I like mobile games is because I'm not always at my little battle station here.
Right.
And so like it is a secondary tier of game, but I'm okay with that because I'm in a secondary situation. So when people ask a question like, is Diablo Immortal going to run on computer? I'm like, why would you want it to? If you have access to your computer, wouldn't you want to play like a computer game? Like the whole benefit of mobile is that you're just making the best of a not gaming situation. RuneScape runs on this thing.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Like Lords Mobile's in serious danger on my phone now because I'm like, well, why would I play that when I could progress my RuneScape character?